have your attention, we'll get going. I would like to welcome everyone to our 2003-2004 Spring Sports Recognition Night. I'd like to thank Lisa Menard for typing the certificates, and also thank Kathy Devins for typing tonight's program. Tonight we will recognize the athletes who participated in track, tennis, golf, baseball, and softball. We had 2 school track records broken this season, a female tennis player that represented the CBAC at the Boys State Championship for her 2nd year in a row, and a golfer that came in 17th out of 99 golfers at the state championship. And our varsity softball team was crowned Section 7 Class B champions. Just participating in the lousy cold weather that we had this spring was a feat in itself, and thanks to the parents who braved the same weather to support our athletes. We had an amazing 78 athletes that earned high honors in academics while participating this spring. Thanks go to our coaches for all of their hard work and dedication to our athletic program, and best of luck to our graduating seniors. I'd like to take just a moment to remind everybody that the budget vote is this Tuesday from 11 till 9, and it's important to our students that we get this budget passed to have any of the extras, which include athletics. Please remain in the auditorium for the full session so as not to disturb the proceedings, and I'll ask that everyone remain quiet while the coaches are speaking about their athletes and teams. At this time, I would like to call down the following athletes: Aaron Batchelder, James Cruz, Mike Noggle, Mike O'Connor, Brandon Sample, Brad Trahan, and David Warner. The White Letter N Award is given to an athlete that has earned a letter in 3 varsity sports in the same year. These athletes started playing in the middle of August, and they've continued right through to June. It's not an easy task, but it's a great accomplishment. The letter comes with small insignias for each sport that can be sewn onto the letter, and these athletes are all earning the White Letter N for the first time. James Cruz, cross country, hockey, and track. Mike Noggle, cross country, bowling, and track. Brad Trahan, cross country, basketball, golf. Okay. David Warner, soccer, hockey, track. The other 3 were tennis players, and they're not here right now, so congratulations to all of you. At this time, I would like to call down the varsity and modified girls track teams. I need you out here, coaches. Stephanie Bayshard. Megan Boris. Michelle Goodrow. Andrea Knapp. Katrin Herdick. Katie Houle, Jessica Bayshard, Leah Demore, Courtney DeMars, Christy Knapp, Carrie Pieper, Amanda Goodfellow, Casey Ladd, Bailey Trahan, Callie Blankenship, Cora Carson, Alyssa Hicks, Colleen Honan, Sylvia Horn, Kylie LaFontaine, Carrie McGee, Christiana Pasno, Sarah Slater, Alexis Rye. Special recognition goes to 14 members of the girls track and field team who qualified for the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete Team Award. To receive this award, the student must be an eligible varsity competitor whose grade point average is used to determine the team composite grade point average of at least 90%, with additional students that have a grade point average of 90% or better. Each athlete earning this award will receive a pin, which I already put inside their packet just to save a little time. I will, however, read their names and ask them to take a step forward. The members of the girls track and field team earning this award are Jessica Bayshard, Steph Bayshard, Megan Boris, Leah Demore, Courtney DeMars, Michelle Goodrow, Amanda Goodfellow, Katrin Herdick, Katie Houle, Andrea Knapp, Christy Knapp, Casey Ladd, Carrie Pieper, and Bailey Trahan. Congratulations. We have 4 coaches up here tonight: Sue Hutchins, Brent Baker, Tina Ducharme, and Jess Cordes. Please welcome our girls track and field team.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank some parents who, as if you're not a track person, you don't realize how much it takes to put on a track meet. And this year we had 5 home meets. And without these parents, we could not have put on and done such a wonderful job. And we had a lot of recognition from other coaches who came to our meets and said how well it was run. And if they could stand, we have Jessica Bayshard's mom, Mrs. Bayshard, and Stephanie Bayshard's mom, Mrs. Bayshard, Mrs. Manette, Mr. and Mrs. Knapp, Mr. Frankie, who's wonderful on the line, Mr. Dragoon and Mrs. Dragoon, Mrs. Keeper, Mrs. McFetrick, Mr. Engelbrecht, Mr. Delafranche, and Mr. Novel. They were at every meet, and many of them came together. The meets last about 2.5 hours, sometimes longer, and without these parents, it would not run because they have to do the field events, they have to run the field events, often are timers for us, helping with hurdles, and we really appreciate everything they did for us this year and in the years in the past. We hope we count on them next year too. Now Ms. Cordes is going to speak a little bit about the Bonfire.
Our modified team this year was made up of all 7th graders, and since it was their first year, we spent a lot of time just learning all of the events, and they spent a lot of time experimenting with which events they wanted to do, which ones they thought were best for them. And throughout the whole time, they were totally enthusiastic, excited about everything, determined, always giving their best, and flexible, willing to try new things if we thought something was more appropriate for them. From the beginning of the season, I think they had some idea of what they wanted to accomplish or a specific goal that they wanted to reach by the end of the season, even though it was nothing that we had written down or really talked about. But I just think you have some idea of what you want out of the season. And these may have changed as they began to specify in certain events or found a new event that they liked better. But by the end of the season, they had all reached and definitely surpassed any of the goals or expectations that they had for themselves. They all improved their times, improved their jumps, improved their throwing, everything by the end of the season. And I think a lot of that was due to their perseverance and their attitude, but also their support of each other. They cheered one another on at meets, and they never let each other get down on themselves. And most important, they had fun together. As you all know, track and field is made up of several very individual events. And I think these girls really understood that it takes a team to succeed, even though the events are all individual. And actually, by the end of the season, the 4x100 relay was their favorite because it required teamwork. So these ladies have a lot to be proud of. They're a very talented group who are a joy to coach, and I know that they'll be very successful. So good season.
Our girls varsity team this year was quite a small team, but our record, we only won one meet, but that really doesn't show how well the girls did. They were a very small team, and there's a number of events in track and field, and due to that, we often got first or second in the event, but we just did not have enough bodies to fill each event, and so many teams who may not have as good of runners as we did or field event people, they were often able to score more points than us because of the size of the other teams. This year we lost to injury one of our athletes, Michelle, so it made our team even a little smaller. But these girls worked hard every single meet, and they worked hard during each practice, and it was amazing that the number of points they did score and the number of firsts and seconds and thirds that we got from them, and anything that we asked them to do, they were willing to do. Many meets, these girls ran 4 events, which is the most you are able to do in a track meet, whether it's running or a field event, shot put, disc, and many of them did do 4 events each meet. We have some senior field events people that we will miss greatly in the years to come. And that's Stephanie Bayshard, who throws our shot and disc for us. And she was a CVAC qualifier, and she was 3rd at CVACs. And Megan Boris, who is also a shot and disc person for us. And these young ladies, we will be very sad to see them go after this year. We could definitely count on them at least first, second, or second, third. They were always in the top 3 at every meet for us, and they also did very well in sectionals. And we'll be very sad to see them leave. Jessica Bayshard also is one of our shot and disc person, and this year she would at times step in and run our relay for us whenever we asked her our 4x1 relay, and which is not something common usually for a shot or disc person to do, but there were times when we were short a person, and so that the other girls could run the relay, she would step in and do that for us. And she will be coming back next year, so we're excited about that. Casey Ladd, who is a new person for us this year, is a sprinter, which we hope that she enjoyed track this year, even though we had a small team. She was new. We were trying to get her to also maybe do cross country to keep that running. She ran the 100 and 200 for us. She was a long jumper, and she ran on the relays for us. We are very excited to have her as a new runner. She was one of our top sprinters this year, and we look forward to having her come back next year. Bailey Trahan was a new person coming back this year. She had done modified and then took a break, and then she came back this year. And Bailey is one of those people that wasn't quite sure what she wanted to do, and she started with the sprints, and we got her involved in the field events, the long jump and triple jump, and by the end of the season, she was jumping for us, she was running, she was on the relay, and she really did an excellent job. We look forward to her coming back. And Courtney Demers, she was someone who stepped in and did the hurdles, the high jump, long jump, and started at the end the triple jump, and she also did on the relay for us. These two young ladies were filled in on that relay and did at the end whatever we asked them to do, and they each did 4 events by the end of the season for us. Christy Knapp, who is our 100 hurdler, 400 hurdler, high jump, runs on the relays. She was our state qualifier this year, was 10th at the state meet, what we were very excited about. She is an excellent athlete. We are very excited to have her back for 2 more years. And she hopefully next year maybe will even span into other areas. Maybe that pentathlon, which I keep working on for her, which is 5 events. And hopefully maybe she'll work on that. But, these are our field event people and sprinters. And Stephanie Bayshard, who is our senior and our field events person, which I am going to be very sad when she leaves this year, along with a number of other people. Andrea Knapp, who is also our senior, and she is one of our top 400 runners in the section. She runs the 400, she has sometimes run the 800, she does the 200, she does relays, she's tried long jump this year, triple jump, and anything we really asked these girls to do this year. We will miss Andrea on 2 relays, our 4x8 and 4x1, and she's also a senior. Stephanie Bayshard, coming back to Stephanie, is an excellent field event person, and she has done the top shot and disc person in our section for the last number of years. We are very sad to see her go, and she is our MVP for our field events this year. We also have another MVP in our running events, and this young lady also, we're excited that she's coming back. She is our top hurdler in the section, and she is, for the 2nd year, a state qualifier in that, and that's Christina. And Mr. Baker is going to talk about some of the other girls, the distance running.
I got a phone call from Mrs. Gilroy on the first day of the spring sports season. She wanted to know if I was interested in coaching track. I said no. I just got done coaching volleyball, and the spring break looked pretty good. After all, I've been 10 years since coaching my last track and field team. But I couldn't help thinking about names from the past, names like Goodrow, Knapp, Dragoon, and others. Names of students I had taught art at Morris Elementary School. With that in mind, plus the fact I love a challenge, I called Mrs. Gilroy back and told her she had a coach for a year. Did I say I love a challenge? And a challenge it was. The girls' team was down in numbers, and the boys' team had to defend their championship title. And our new coaches with different philosophies, you have a real challenge. But our coaching staff, once organized, did a great job in preparing the teams for the 2004 season. If you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put the foundation under them. A quote from Henry David Thoreau. I believe both boys and girls track teams have talented athletes and can bring future championships to their school. They are, in a sense, the castles in the sky. Coach Hutchins, with the help of the coaching staff, Coach Ducharme, Coach Cortez, Coach Lemire, and myself, have worked hard this year in laying down a foundation for these athletes to shine in the future. Coach Hutchins has this program on the right track. I helped coach the distance runners this year and the throwers. As I mentioned earlier, the girls' team was always outnumbered by their opponents. These girls truly reflected the past work of Coach Hutchins and Coach Lynch. No matter the outlook of the meet, these girls always gave 110% and never questioned. Just performed with a lot of heart and determination. The first girl I'd like to talk about is a prime example of what it is to have heart and determination. A foot injury ended her senior track season before it started. Even with the injury, she kept training, always believing she would make it back. She trained through the pain until she ran out of meets and time. She was the top-ranked 800-meter girl in our section, and that's Michelle Cougar. Andrea Knapp was our 400-meter girl and ran on the 3,200-meter relay team and the 1,600-meter relay team. What most impressed me about Andrea is once she sets her mind on doing something and works for it, she will succeed. With quality training, she could become a very good collegiate runner. Leah Demore ran the 800, 15, and the 3,000-meter race. This is a girl that is always pushing herself. She has great expectations of herself and is never satisfied with yesterday's results. With this kind of drive, good things will come to Leah. Amanda Goodfellow. Her famous quote at the beginning of the year was, "I don't want to run distance." What was Amanda's event? By the end of the year, the 2-mile race. So much for running distance, Amanda. I know Amanda is a volleyball player and a runner. One of her greatest qualities is she has a hard work ethic. And Amanda was also voted our most improved player this year. Katie Houle is very much like Leah. She works and races hard to improve her times, even though she thinks I'm a little crazy for making her run 400s. With a good cross-country season and training over the winter, Katie will lower her mile mark. Every coach looks for good athletes that work hard, are tough, and determined. After all, this is what champions are made of. Carrie Pieper is this plus more. She was able to overcome injuries at the beginning of the season to play a major role in all 3 relays and running the half mile. If Pete stays healthy and trains, her future looks very bright. Katrin Hurdick is what NCCS distance running is all about. She comes from a family of top-notch distance runners. She set the school record in the mile this season with a 5:14.9. And she owns the school record in the girls' 2-mile run. Quality distance training and those dreaded 200 and 400s, and the sky will be the limit in her senior year. For a small group, these young ladies did a great job in representing our track and field team. Thank you.
We just want to say thank you to our 4 coaches. We know how hard they work this year, and it really means a lot to us. We never could have asked for better coaches. And we have some presents for them, and they're also from the boys' team.
Could we have the boys varsity modified track teams come down first? David Blankenship. Travis Ragland. Lucas Dunn. Mike Harrigan. CJ Hunter. Jed Ladd. Matt Seguin, James Cruz, McLean Dunbar, James Frankie, John Hardigan, Alex Menard, Niall Manette, Mike Noggle, David Warner, Mike Bruley, Kyle Chambers, Kenny Delafranche, Nate Gaudette, Bobby Grimm, Owen Labarge, Jordan Batty, Drew Burnell, Jonathan Kupel, Daniel Frankie, Cody Gay, Ethan McCarthy, Andrew Southwick, Christian Delafrance, Joey Engelbrecht, Connor Hervig, Aaron Monty, Joey Ormsby, and the manager for both the boys and girls team was Derek Norton. "15 members of the boys and track team also qualified for the Scholar Athlete Team Award. Kyle Chambers, please step forward. James Cruz, Kenny Delafranche, McLean Dunbar, Lucas Dunn, James Frankie, Michael Harrigan, John Hardigan, CJ Hunter, Owen Labarge, Jed Ladd, Alex Menard, Niall Manette, Mike Noggle, and David Warner. Congratulations to all of you.
I just have a couple things about the boys modified team. They were a much more diverse team than the girls, consisting of 7th and 8th graders, and there was just a really wide range of personalities between them. They were very different, but they still had a lot of fun together, and they were able to find some fun in everything we did. Most of the boys, since they were older, knew what events they liked and spent a lot of time working on technique, which really paid off by the end of the season. Those that didn't know what they liked were very excited about trying everything new. Some of the favorites on the boys' team were the high jump, the long jump, and the 4x1 relay. They were all very determined to do well in all of their events and very excited about competing. Meets were definitely their favorite days, and they looked forward to testing their skills against other athletes. They supported each other during events and made friends with other competitors. They improved a lot from the beginning of the year and really enjoyed getting the results of their meets and comparing how their times and marks had improved throughout the season. The boys worked really hard this season, and I hope that they will continue with track, many of them who will be moving up to varsity next year. All of them are extremely talented, and I know that they will be a great asset to the team that they're on next year. They were a lot of fun to coach, and we had a very enjoyable season.
The boys' varsity record this year was 4-4. That was a difficult year to come back with new coaches, all new coaches, and we lost a number of seniors they did last year, Mike Castine, Jason Desero. But on a whole, the team did very well, and many of the students who were new to the track program really stepped up and tried some new events, as well as some of the older athletes who were a part of the team from years in the past. Events that we needed to fill: shot put, disc, hurdles, long, triple, high jump. Many of those athletes stepped up and really took a role and tried to fill those events as we went into different meets in those areas. Our shot and disc area, we were lucky enough to have 4 athletes this year who really worked hard in that area after trying to fill that position from Mike Castine, who, as you know, was one of the leaders in the section in the state. And Alex Menard, who threw the shot and disc for us and also ran in a number of races, 400, 200, really stepped up and filled some of those big shoes that Mike left. He many times placed for us in those shot and disc in those events during dual meets. And we look forward to having him back for the next couple of years. A new runner is Jed Land, who stepped up also in the shot and disc, and he was also a runner for us in the 100 and 200 at times. He also started to learn the disc this year, first year, and often would place in meets for us, which is very difficult. The shot and disc are difficult events to learn, and as a new competitor, he took on that role and became excited about it and did quite well. Owen Labarge and Mikey Bruley also are new members of the team this year, and they also took on the role and excited to do the shot and disc. They both improved tremendously over the season in those 2 areas, and we are very excited to have all 4 of these young men back next year. Jonathan Hardigan, who is a returning athlete, was stepped up to the plate in our field events and also in the running. He often would run an 800 or in the 4x8 relay. We had no high jumpers at the beginning of the year, and we asked Jonathan, along with the long jump and triple jump, if he would try that. And he really took that to heart, and he worked on that, and often may not always have cleared the height that was expected, but he was trying, and then by the end of the season, he was clearing that height and placing for us in the event. So we look forward to him coming back next year and doing that again for us. The same with Niall Manette. He was a high jumper who kind of was reluctant at first, and towards the end he was clearing 5.2, and we hope to see him back next year for that. Kyle Chambers, our triple jumper, long jumper, 400 runner. He was an excellent athlete. He worked hard, and we hope to have him back next year in those field events, especially the long and triple. CJ Hunter, Charles Hunter, is a new person to this team this year, and we were very excited to have him. He was a 400, 200 runner, wanted to be a sprinter, and towards the first couple of meets, I went up to him and I said, I really need you to try these hurdles. And the hurdles are quite high in track, so you don't see too many hurdlers, and we only had one other hurdler for the season. I said, could you just please go over there and try this? Yeah, it was such as I'll do whatever you want. And by the end of the season, he was running our 100 and 400, and he did an excellent job, and always stepped up if we needed someone on a relay, and he improved a tremendous amount for that, and this is one of the reasons why he is our MVP in the running event. We're very excited about next year when he comes back. Nathan Gaudette was also our hurdler. He was a 100 and 200 or 100 and 400 hurdler, and he will be coming back next year and working on his technique in that, and we're excited to have him. McLean Dunbar was a new runner this year, and he was a sprinter, and in areas that we were a little weak in, and he helped out in that, and he did whatever we asked. He ran 100, the 200, the 400 at times, and if we needed him as a backup for the relay and alternate. Luke Dunn, who was a junior this year and will be coming back next year, he had a season that he wasn't able to complete because of health reasons, but he ran some amazing races before that. His 100 times or the top in the section, and I truly believe that if he was able to go to the States this year, he would have been in the top 5, maybe even top 2 of the States this year in the 100. Luke was one of those runners that would always do anything you asked, even though he never wanted to let down the team. He was disappointed when he couldn't run sectionals or compete in the CBACs, and one of his worries was if we put him down, because his time did qualify to go to CBACs, was he taking another runner's spot if he was not able to go. And that was just great sportsmanship to think of somebody else, and when he knew that he probably could win or would have won the CBACs and able to go to states. But he was very concerned that he would probably take another person's spot, but this year they had added an alternate, so he was able to still possibly go, but if he was backed out. another person could take his spot. But to have that type of sportsmanship and concern that he didn't want to take it away from another runner is amazing for a young athlete to feel that way about the sport. We look, yeah. We are very excited to have him back next year, and we hope that he is off to the state meet next year, which I'm sure he will be. Derek Norton, our manager, did a super job for both teams. He had to cover both teams this year for us, and he was the only manager who had. He did an excellent job with all the books and any assignments that I gave him, keeping score or organizing paperwork for me. Hopefully he'll be back next year to help. One of our field event person who took on this role, he's a new athlete, and he became very excited about the shot and disc. He improved each meet. He has already signed himself up for 2 camps this summer to learn more about the technique of shot and disc, and that is Owen LaBarge, and he is our most improved for the field events. So we look forward to all our sprinters and field events people back next year.
Coach Hutchins and I have been picked on to no end about reading maps and getting lost. Let's just say we got to know Syracuse really well down at the state meet. We were given bad directions, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But now let me draw a map for the guys' track and field team. Not a map that shows paved roads and highways, but one that will put them back on the road to success. No shortcuts, right, Coach Ducharme? A road that will bring them back the track title. Talent is not a problem with the guys' track team. They have plenty of it. Talent is great to have, but better when combined with commitment and strong work ethics. This means hours of training in the off-season, setting goals and working to achieve them. If these young men commit themselves to winning back their track title, they will be a dominating force next year. James Frankie ran the 800 for us this season. He improved as the season went on. If James applies himself, he might be surprised on how much his time will come down. Kenny Delafranche works hard to become a better runner. I'd like to see him run the 800 next year. I think he would find success in that race if he focuses on it. Mike Harrigan was a newcomer to the track team this season. His impact was immediate. He ran the 800 and was a member of the 3200 relay. Potential is the word for Mike. He has a lot of it. It's up to him on what he does with it. Bobby Grimm, also a newcomer to the team, was a middle to long distance and ran middle to long distance and ran on the 3200 meter relay and the 1600 meter relay. With training, Bobby will become a stronger runner. Next year, he will add more quality depth to the team. Mike Noggle is a very good all-around athlete. He ran sprints, distance, and competed in the long jump. With better racing strategies, Mike could be a top half-miler next year. David Warner was a sprinter, 400-meter runner, and half-miler. He also ran on all 3 of our relays. David helped provide depth on the team this season. I believe he could have a great success in the 800-meter race if he ever decides to move up. James Cruz will be one of the top distance runners in this section in the future. Every meet he ran the 2 mile and he continued to drop his time. He works hard and is focused. And with a name like Cruz, you gotta admit, you gotta be fast. David Blankenship is our only senior. We will miss him next year. He was one of the best 200-meter, 400-meter runners in the section. It will be hard to replace him, but we wish him the best in college. Matt Siegwin was and is the best 400-meter hurdler in Section 7. He represented our section at the state meet in Syracuse. Matt is a talented athlete, but he's just scratching the surface of what he can do. If he trains and is focused next year, he will break the record in the 400-meter hurdle. He also might find this team might be one step closer to a championship trophy. Travis Dragoon was the heart and soul of our distance squad. He had a great season, setting the school record in the 1600-meter run with a time of 4:34. He represented our section at the state meet in the mile. Travis knows what it takes to have, he knows what it will take to have a good, successful senior year in cross country and track. He has to just go out and do it. But in case he needs motivation, I will repeat these times to him: 2:06, 4:37, and 10:08. And remember, that was all in one meet, Travis, on a cinder track.
I'm going to rate you something.
To both the track and field teams, there's your map that can put you back on the road to success. The key to the maps includes such words as hard work, dedication, focus, training, determination, drive, and work ethic. The map to success is in your hands. What you do with it is totally up to you. Will you arrive at your destination, or will you become lost? Thank you guys for the video. Travis, you distracted me. We awarded Travis the most valuable runner this year.
Good evening. I'll do my best to keep this short to avoid boring you more than you already probably are. As some of you know, the track season for the boys team brought with it all kinds of change. Last year we said goodbye to our longtime coach, Mr. Power. Also leaving were a few prominent seniors who seem to have always been around and made up a great deal of our past success. Rob Bernard is back there. He was not mentioned earlier. We went into this year's season not knowing what to expect of the coaching situation or how the team would turn out to be. In a decision that was nothing short of valiant, Mrs. Hutchins graciously decided to take the job as our head coach, along with being in charge of the girls' team and modified team. She brought with her a passion for the sport of track and field and sacrificed all kinds of time and energy for our benefit. It was her dedication, along with the help of Mr. Banker, Mrs. Ducharme, and Ms. Cortez, that made the season a successful one. I'm sure our team led them all to question their motives as to why they would ever want to deal with us. But it goes without saying that we were grateful to each and every one of them for all they did throughout the year. Thank you.
We have the girls tennis team down front, please. We'll have the boys tennis team come down front as well.
Shut up. That's my best friend. Thank you. I don't want to do awesome. I love that.
Carrie Guerin, Kathleen Kehoe, Sarah McDonald, Jen Mitchell, Kim Noggle, Shanti Pirro, Emmeline Allen, Brittany Jarvis, Katie Gay, Sarah Monty, Caitlin Langer, Emily O'Hara, Morgan Lacousse, and now the boys, Ashley Abar, the boys team, Rusty LaValna, Kevin O'Connor, William Collins, Charles Martin, Mike O'Connor, Brandon Sample, Aaron Batchelder, Anthony Changelo, Tyler Tatro, Nate Weiss, Trevor Batchelder, Ryan Goodrow. Nine members of the girls tennis team qualified for the Scholar Athlete Team Award. Please step forward when I call your name. Emmeline Allen, Carrie Guerin, Katie Gay, Brittany Jarvis, Kathleen Kehoe, Sarah McDonald, Jen Mitchell, Kim Noggle, Emily O'Hara, and 10 members of the boys team also qualified: Ashley Abar, Anthony Changelo, William Collins, Ryan Goodrow, Rusty LaFountain, Kevin O'Connor, Mike O'Connor, Brandon Sample, Tyler Tatro, and Nate Weiss. Congratulations to all of you. Please welcome our tennis teams and coaches Harry McManus and Dan Gallagher.
Good evening. The 2004 tennis season began with both the boys and the girls teams knowing they would be very competitive and in the hunt for a championship this year. First, on the boys team, there were two questions. Would the boys team be able to adjust to the loss of 3 starters, 2 of whom were first team all-stars? And, maybe not as quite as important, would 2 sets of brothers be able to play doubles together? For the girls team, would the girls be able to adjust to losing 3 starters, including their number 1 and number 2 singles players? Both answers would be an unqualified yes. One of the hallmarks of our program is that we always try to teach our players to take something positive from all the matches they play, even the ones they lose. We did finish second this year in both the boys and the girls leagues. Exchange students at other schools added strength to teams that we needed to beat. But both teams would win 8 matches this year and be very competitive in all the rest. We learned and we grew a lot this year. We had a great group of young people, and for the first time in 30 years, both tennis teams qualified for the New York State Scholar Athlete Award. I'm very proud of them. During the boys' season, at number 1 singles, Ashley Abar, senior Ashley Abar, went 11-3 playing for NCCS. And she won an award which is not listed here, which I'd like to mention. She was the Section 7 Sportsmanship Award at the state championships, and that's a tremendous honor for Ashley, so congratulations. Ashley's goal was always to represent Section 7 at the U.S. Open tennis courts in Flushing Meadows in the state championships. She accomplished this goal for the 2nd year in a row as the number 3 player in the section. Her best match was in the sectional finals when she came back to win a 2nd set and pushed the 2nd seed to 3 sets before finally losing. She is the first player in NCCS history to start every match at number 1 singles for 6 years. She did it for 3 years on the girls' team and then 3 years on the boys' team. She won a total of 72 matches representing NCCS. This has never happened before and probably will never happen again. I will miss her a lot. She has worked very hard at her game all year long, and Ashley is our most valuable player this year. Ashley. At number 2 singles was Anthony Changelo. He's an 8th grader. He had a 10-3 record this year and was ranked 7th in the section. His best match was in defeating the Beekmantown number 1 player in straight sets. He is also a 2nd team all-star, and we look for very big things from Tony in the future. At number 3 singles was senior Rusty LaFountain. Rusty was 8-4 this year at both singles and doubles. His best match was his last match in the sectional final, where he showed both leadership and confidence in leading his doubles team to victory. Rusty lettered for 3 years and won over 20 matches at Northeast Clinton. At number 1 doubles, we had sophomore Aaron Batchelder and junior Brandon Sample. Aaron played doubles all year, and he was 7-3 with his best effort, leading us to a 3-2 win with his brother over Saranac. Brandon was 6-4 this year with his best effort in a losing cause against Seton in singles play. They both will be back next year, and we look for a possible state qualifying doubles team. At second doubles, we had juniors William Collins and Michael O'Connor and 7th grader Trevor Batchelder. I know you can't play 3 people in doubles, but they were interchangeable at this position, so I decided to include them all here. Trevor was 7 and true this year, with his best efforts being against PHS and Seton. Trevor will be a future star of the NCCS program. Michael was 6 and 1 this year, with his best efforts playing PHS. William was 7 and 4 this year, with his best effort in singles in the state qualifier, pushing the number 4 ranked player to the brink of defeat. Both Michael and William will be an important part of our team next year. William improved his game so much this year that he is our most improved player, William Collins. Also on the squad were first-year player and senior Kevin O'Connor, who won a big match this year with his brother. Nate Weiss and Ryan Goodrow won 2 big matches this year, and we look for big things from them next year. Charlie Martin and Tyler Tatro rounded out the team, and they'll be vying for starting positions next year also. I hope they play a lot of tennis this summer and will be ready for next spring, trying to return a boys' championship that we won last year back to NCCS. The girls' team lost 3 starters from last year's team, and most of the girls would have to play at new positions this season. At number 1 singles, sophomore Katie Gay played some fine tennis. She won 10 matches and is the kind of player that makes coaching a pleasure. She's a very smart player, and she got better in just about every match she played. And everyone on the tennis team knows that she played the match of the season, and maybe the match of the last 15 seasons. For 3.5 hours, she battled the number 1 player from Lake Placid, with the match tied at 2-all. She fought off 4 match points and finally won 11-9 in a third set tiebreaker, giving our team the victory. She also played a perfect set at the end of the season in the CBAC champion against the CBAC champion. This was the only set that the number 1 ranked player lost all year. Katie was a second-team All-Star, and Katie is our most valuable player this year. Katie Gay. At number 2 singles was senior Shanti Perro. Shanti won 5 matches this year. However, her match at NAC at number 1 singles will always be remembered. In a cold, windswept day, she was playing in the third set and looked to win as she was up 5-1 in the third set. The NAC girl came back to tie it and push it into a tiebreaker. Shanti then was down 5-1 in the tiebreaker and came over on the change and told me that she was not going to lose this match. She came back and won 7-5. What a character builder. And also, she's not afraid to finally correct me on my mispronunciation of her first name for 3 years. I will miss her smile, but not her name. At number 3 singles was junior Brittany Jarvis. Brittany was 8 and 2 this year at both singles and doubles. She was a great competitor and was able to play at any position. Her best effort was in both Lake Placid matches. In her first match, Brittany came over on the change of sides and said, "That number 3 player is very good. She gets everything back." The girl ended up becoming the eventual CBAC champion, even though she was playing number 3 that day. Britt was a very good predictor of the future. In the sectionals, Brittany easily won against a different Lake Placid opponent in the sectional semifinals. Brittany is a big match player, and we look forward to her returning next year. And number 1 doubles were senior Sarah McDonald and sophomore Sarah Monte. Senior Sarah won 8 matches this year at both singles and doubles. Her best efforts were with Sarah Monte against Lake Placid, winning her individual match and the overall match 3-2. In singles, her 2 tiebreakers in a loss to Peru was a gutsy performance that showed me that she was an excellent player. She went on to play her best tennis after that, including a come-from-behind win in the sectional semifinals. I wish Sarah had just had 1 more year to play. What a great kid. She is our most improved player, Sarah McDonald. Sarah Monte was also 8 and 2 this year at both singles and doubles. Her best matches were with Sarah in doubles. In singles, she won 3 sets with the undefeated girl from PHS. Sarah will also play an important role on the team next year. At number 2 doubles, we had Emlyn Allen, Jen Mitchell, Carrie Guerin, and Kim Noggle. And yes, I know that's 4 players, but each of them played at both number 1 and number 2 doubles this year. Emlyn and Jen's best match was a guaranteed win match against Lake Placid in their first start together. The match lasted about 2.5 hours, and they came back to win after starting the match saying they wouldn't let me down. What a great start. I'm glad to have them both back next year. Carrie and Kim won some big matches this year also, but their best effort was against Saranac in a 2.5-hour thriller, coming back to win 7-5 in the third set. Both are seniors, and I wish Carrie again had started her tennis career sooner. Kim has probably the best disposition of anybody on the team. She always has a smile and a good heart. Senior Kathleen Keogh won 2 big matches this year, and I'll miss her next year. Emily O'Hare and Caitlin Langer rounded out the team. We look forward to them filling some starting roles next year. And Morgane Lacuse also participated. She is a great reason to have a foreign exchange student in your home. What a great representative of France. We shared many good times this year and had a lot of laughs. I must also mention my assistant coach, Dan Gallagher. He's a great guy, and he brings a very positive attitude to the team. He's learned the game and can work with any players on both skills and strategy. He also gives the team a sense of humor and commitment, which is very important. I'm very fortunate to have an individual like Dan to coach with. He has donated much of his free time to playing tennis with team members and improving their games. This year, Dan got another taste of the joy of winning and the pain of losing, but he always takes something positive from each match to build on for the next match. I would also like to thank Josie Gilroy for all her support and encouragement this year. Whenever I had a question, Josie was there with an answer, and that made my job of coaching a lot easier. And finally, I'd like to thank the parents. A new spirit has started with these parents who are willing to assist in making the program better. Whether it's ordering shirts or having a postseason party, those are just 2 examples. But thank you for coming to our tennis matches and for all the parents for being here tonight. Bringing your support by being at matches is one of the most important things you can do for your children. This effort will mean more to your child than they may comprehend right now. But later, they will appreciate these tremendous efforts and even say thank you in future years. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming. Ashley and I have both been waiting for the proper venue to say everything we're about to unfurl, and you've given us that opportunity. In the past, our thoughts and opinions about tennis, the team, and our coaches have really only been shared with one another, but this is the last chance we'll get. Between the 2 of us, there are 11 years of varsity tennis, a lot of time, and a lot of concern for the game, one another, and the rest of the team. Each of those things, it's safe to say, have brought both Ashley and I a remarkable amount of joy over the past 6 years. And we've given a lot to the sport. And to that end, I think we've been pretty successful. In the past 3 years, since both Ashley and I have been playing and starting on the boys' team, our team's record has been 27-5. That's amazing. Ashley's made a couple of trips to states, and I could talk about her forever, but everyone already knows. I was just happy to make it to the quarterfinals this year. But in all seriousness, tennis for us has been more than just success on the court. And that's why we jumped at the opportunity to speak today. We, as well as a group of friends that stand behind us, have been blessed to have not just 1, but 2 amazing, dedicated coaches. Mr. Gallagher, you've helped us so much. Always approachable, always lighthearted. Always making sure that we run each and every one of our laps. I'm pretty sure that most of our personality as a team comes from you. Sectional finals just wouldn't be the same without you pacing back and forth just off the court, helping our more mathematically challenged players keep score. And not all of those matches went our way, but we've never walked off the court as losers. And for that, there's only one man to thank. Mr. McManus, You've been the lifeblood of this team for what seems like forever, and you'll always have a place in the hearts of us all. Truth be told, I don't even begin to know how to say goodbye to someone who's meant so much to me all throughout high school, who's taught me almost all of what I know about tennis, a lot of history, and a little bit about life. I could easily keep talking, but I'm sure that many of you already know a lot of this. Mr. McManus is probably the most personable man I've ever met, but he's so much more than that to just Ashley and I.
I cannot begin to express my gratitude and emotions towards both Mr. McManus and Mr. Gallagher. I've been on the tennis team for 6 years, and each year I was grateful to have Mr. McManus and Mr. Gallagher by my side and coaching me through my matches. I would like to thank Mr. McManus for his many hours he has spent coaching me both during the season and in the off-season as well. Without his coaching and support, I would not be where I am today. Mr. Gallagher has been a great coach and provided much laughter throughout the season. I would especially like to thank him for being my personal caddy during states and carting my bag around the entire time. It is going to be very hard to say goodbye to both of these coaches. I will never forget either of them, and I will always remember what they have done for me.
But they'll be my friends forever, and we'll miss and love them terribly for the rest of our lives, and we're never going to stop playing. Thank you.
Could someone shut that door in the back, please?
What?
Would Sam Novacek come down front, please? In each season, the CBAC All-Academic Award is presented to 2 senior athletes in recognition of their contribution to and achievement in sport, as well as their success in academics. And for the spring 2004 season, the first award goes to Kim Noggle from the tennis team. And the second to Sam Novacek from the golf team. We thought he was in trouble. Congratulations, both Kim and Sam. And now I'll ask for the golf team to come down front. Kyle Hicks, Eric LeBlanc, Sam Novacek, KK Woodward, Kyle Gadway, Dan Moore, Brad Trahan, Justin Ballard, Matt Phillips, Andrew Rabideau, Jed Thone, Brad Kaye, Darren Brassard, Max Hipko, Patrick Holmes, Chris Kraft, Nick Letourneau, Tyler Richards, Nick Stone, Stephen Young, Chris Kaye. Please welcome our golf team and Coach Matt Fredette.
Good evening, everybody. Before I discuss this past season and my players, I would like to begin by thanking a few very important people that have contributed to the overall success of the golf program here. First of all, Mrs. Josie Gilroy. Not enough can be said for all the time and work Mrs. Gilroy invests to make the golf season and all the other sports seasons run smoothly here at NCCS. Even though she had many other teams, coaches, and players that she had to accommodate, I always had everything I needed from her ahead of time, and she was always there to help if I had any problems. Also, I'd like to thank Chris Welch. Chris volunteered his time throughout the year and during sectionals to help us out, and we appreciate his time. And the golf course and all the staff there, no matter how busy it was, they always let us get out on the course, and they were really helpful to all the kids. And finally, the parents on the team, thanks for picking up all the players, being there for some of our matches and offering support. Now to our season and my players. At the beginning of the season, I asked the team what they thought our goals for the season should be. We all seemed to agree that it would be difficult to improve on our 8-3 record and our tie for third place from the previous season. On a team that consists of 6 starters, we had lost 2, and that's why we felt it would be a very difficult task. With a third of our team gone, we all felt it would be great if we could finish the year above 500. For this to happen, we also knew that our scoring averages would have to come down from the previous year. Considering my returning players had such great scoring averages last year, we knew improvement would not come easily. What impressed me so much about this group was that they did not seem concerned at all about losing players or trying to undertake the daunting task of repeating last year's success. In fact, as the season unfolded, it became quite clear that this team was an assembled group of overachievers. Every single starter on the team that played last season either maintained or improved their scoring average. Anybody who plays golf knows how difficult it is to maintain your average score or improve upon it, and this accomplishment in itself is amazing. These players were so successful at scoring well this year because they worked on their weaknesses and adapted their games well to various courses and playing conditions. These low scoring averages helped our team attain league success. We won 9 out of the 11 CBAC matches we played this year. The majority of these 9 wins were convincing victories. Our only losses came to the eventual CBAC champion Seton Catholic team and to the eventual Section 7 champion team Saranac Lake. Our strong 92 record put us alone in 3rd place and maintained our position as a powerhouse in the league. One coach was quoted in the paper as saying NCCS golf is a force to be reckoned with. All the successes we enjoyed this year were due to the players standing behind me and all their hard work. The NCCS golf team was 22 players strong this year. We had 10 that were 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. These players are Chris Kay, Stephen Young, Nick Stone, Tyler Richards, Nick Letourneau, Chris Kraft, Patrick Holmes, Max Hipko, Darren Brassard, and Brad Kay. What I'm hoping is that these players will develop into my future starters, and I know they will if they put the time in to improve. Some of these players, like Tyler Richards and Nick Letourneau, worked their way out to the top 10 this year and were able to come with the team to some way matches. They have all shown me throughout the year that they are dedicated and willing to work on their games to be ready for the next level. I truly feel that this group is the foundation of our continued success in the future, and I am excited to see them improve next year as much as they have this year. I also had a great group of 10th graders. Andrew Rabideau, Matt Rabideau, and Jed Tone all returned from last season. These players are strong players that have scoring averages that are good enough to be in the top 6 of other teams in the league. In fact, the scores these 10th graders have turned in throughout the season would beat many starting players of other CBAC teams. Andrew even worked his way into the top 10 for part of the season and came with the team to some away matches. Next season, these players will most likely be contending for top 10, and our team will be relying on their good scores. KK Woodward was the only girl on the team. KK came out for our team as a senior to learn golf and did a great job. She was excited to learn and play and had a lot of fun on the team this season. I hope she will help pave the way for many girls to come out for the NCCS golf team in the future. Now to my starters. It was intensely competitive once again for starting positions this year. After losing 2 starters and having a tough schedule, I knew my younger players were going to have to step up their games in order to fill the gaps and ensure that we would be successful again this year. Brad Trahan, Matt Phillips, and Kyle Gagley did just that. These players shot some great scores and came through when we really needed them. Kyle shot a great score of 45 at Tucker Lake Country Club to win his match and help us beat Tucker Lake 6-0. Brad Trahan shot a 45 versus Osable and a 47 versus Seton on the difficult Adirondack golf course. Matt Phillips started in 3 matches and was 3-0. Matt came through big when we needed him the most. Against Peru, he shot a 49 at Adirondack and not only won a point for us, but his score helped us win the eventual tiebreaker. Against a tough Seton Catholic team, Matt shot 47 to beat his opponent by 2 shots. And finally, against Lake Placid, Matt shot a 47 to win a point for us and give us a great score that we were able to use to beat Lake Placid, also in a tiebreaker. Without his performances in the matches he started, we would have lost those two tiebreaker matches. Matt's consistency and steadiness under match pressure helped our team immensely this year. Another player that really elevated his game this year to keep our lineup strong was Dan Moore. Dan was a good player last year that turned into a great player this year. He went from an average 9-hole score of 52 last year to a 47 this year. A 5-stroke decrease in scoring average is almost unheard of in golf in one season, but Dan accomplished it. His scoring average qualified him at a high spot in our lineup, so he had to play many tough matches against experienced players when he had no match experience. Despite this and the fact that this was his first year playing in matches, Dan completed the season with a winning record of 4-3. Dan's highlight of the season, no doubt, was in his first match as a starter. As number 3 man, Dan chipped in for birdie in the second to last hole to beat a tough opponent by 1 stroke. Due to his immense scoring average decrease and his success as a first-time starter, I award Dan the NCCS Golf Most Improved Player Award for 2004. Justin Ballard is a sophomore, and this season was only his second on our NCCS golf team. Justin qualified as the number 1 golfer at the beginning of the year and played the entire year in this spot. Justin was very consistent, especially considering he's only a sophomore. He maintained a scoring average just above 40 for 9 holes. This scoring average is one of the top 10 in our section. Justin not only has a great golf swing, but he is competitive, patient, does not give up when he has a tough hole. These traits he displayed throughout the season are what have made him such a great match performer and player. Justin proved to me in our team last year that he was one of the top players in the league, but it seemed going into this year that none of the other teams realized it or knew it. He came into the season under the radar and had one of the best seasons any area golfer has ever had. Although he played mostly against seniors and juniors, Justin finished with an outstanding 8-3 record. In his first sectional tournament last year, as a freshman, Justin finished tied for 12th out of approximately 90 golfers, a great showing as a 9th grader. He told me at the beginning of this year that he wanted to do a little better at sectionals. Well, he did. He finished in 8th place out of 96 golfers. This performance earned him a spot in the 2004 CBAC All-Star team and qualified him also for the state tournament to be held at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, all as a sophomore. In the last 10 years, he's only the 4th golfer to do that here at NCCS. Before we left the States, I told Justin to just have a good time there and treat it as a learning experience. I told him that most players who go down to the course from this area for the first time find it very difficult because the course is so much tougher than any course we see around here. Justin, as the 8th seed from our section, ended up doing a lot more than having a good learning experience at States. Justin shot a 75 and a 78 at Cornell to become the top golfer from Section 7. Even more importantly, his scores placed him tied for 17th in the entire state. This is an amazing accomplishment. To put this accomplishment into perspective, only about 4 golfers in the last 20 years have finished in the top 20 in our state tournament. Mike Zerlo, some 20 years ago, was the last player from NCCS who finished in the top 20. For his efforts at States, he earned a spot on the 2004 All-State team, and he has solidified his position as one of the top golfers in our area and our state. For his hard work, his low scoring average, his strong match record, his awards as CBAC All-Star, State Tournament Qualifier, and All-State Team Member, I awarded Justin NCCS Golf's Most Valuable Player Award for 2004. Last but not least, I have 3 seniors this year, Eric LeBlanc, Kyle Hicks, and Sam Novacek. They are not 3 seniors that you would want more on your team than Kyle, Sam, and Eric. These 3 have done so much for the Cougar golf program and will be sorely missed next year. Eric LeBlanc, in only his 2nd year as a starter, proved once again how tough he is to beat in matches. Last year, Eric was 8-2-1, and this year he was 8-3. His highlight for the year would be shooting a solid score of 43 at Adirondack and earning him medalist honors that match. Even more impressive than that great score is Eric's determination. Eric is determined to beat whoever he's playing against. He is one of the most dedicated players on the team and always comes to matches and practices excited to learn and to participate. Now, when I say that he is dedicated, I'm not just using a cliche. Eric nearly broke his ankle and could barely walk only a couple days before sectionals. He insisted and pleaded that he be able to play in his last year. By the look look at his ankle, most people would have not understood why he would even want to walk, let alone play. But I knew that nothing would stop Eric from playing. That he showed up, played, and finished the sectional round is a testament to the type of kid he is. He is just the type of person and player a coach wants on his team, and we will miss him a lot next year. Kyle Hicks, also a senior, has been a major reason why NCCS Golf has enjoyed success in the past few years. Kyle has played on the team for 5 years and has played in numerous matches. I looked to him to be a steady performer this year, and he was. Kyle was 8-3 this year at the difficult number 2 slot. He beat many good players and finished his senior year impressively. In the last match of the season, Kyle earned medalist honors by shooting an awesome 38 at Westport Country Club. He then went on to tie for 14th out of 96 golfers at sectionals. And finally, Kyle tied for 3rd at the Chisholm Memorial Golf Tournament at Malone Golf Club. His 3rd place finish came amongst the field composed of the top golfers from Section 7 and 10. Kyle established himself as one of the top 20 high school players in the area this year. He was a steady force in the team, and his experience was key to our team's great season. Thanks, Kyle, for all your contributions to NCCS Golf through the years. Sam Novacek is the last of my 3 seniors on the team, and he played at the number 3 position for the majority of the year. At this difficult slot, Sam compiled a solid match record of 6-4 while maintaining a scoring average of around 45. His 45 average was one of the top averages in the whole league. I would say that Sam's highlight of the season would be his low round of 43 at Adirondack Golf Club versus Peru. This lowest score of the year for Sam came on one of the most difficult courses in our schedule. His 43 was also a big reason why we ended up beating Peru that day in a tiebreaker. Sam ended up his season strongly in sectionals also. Sam finished in 16th place out of 96 golfers in the sectional tournament. Sam's goal this year was to play well in the sectionals and make the cut for second day. He succeeded in reaching his goal and finishing the year in the top 20 in our section. All these accomplishments for Sam are great, but the most impressive of all his statistics is the fact that he's played on the team for 6 straight years. There are very few players who accomplish this, and I'm very proud of Sam playing golf as well as he has for so many years in a row. Just like Kyle and Eric, Sam leaves a place in NCCS Golf that will be impossible to replace. There's not much the team or I can say to you 3 except thanks, guys. Thanks for doing so much to make the NCCS Golf program as strong as it is today. In closing, some people measure team success by wins and losses, while others argue that a team can only achieve its success when its players display such traits as sportsmanship, dedication, and loyalty to the team. The players that stand before you have achieved success in both of these respects, and I'm truly proud to be their coach. Our success on the course is evident in the 9-2 record and consistently low scores. We were successful in proving to the league and to ourselves that we are one of the top teams in the conference. Although the successes out on the course are great, what's even better for me as a coach is to work with a group of young men that have proven to me that they are not only great golfers, but great people as well. When I mention to members of the golf club, teachers, or people in the community the names of the players on my team, I hear words like respectful, hardworking, and dedicated used to describe them. These comments I hear are a credit to these young men. They are the reason why the NCCS golf program is so successful. Thanks, guys, for a great year, and I look forward to coaching you next spring.
I just heard a coach say that he's scared. What I'm going to say. But I guess we're running behind, so I'm going to just cut this speech short. We had a great year, 9-2, as you heard, and Justin obviously did awesome, even though we rag on him all the time because Coach, we think Coach favors him a little bit, even though he's a sophomore. But he deserves it. He's a great golfer. I'd like to thank our coach. Obviously, he's a great coach. I don't know what else to say. Chris Welch was also great when he came. We got a bit of Eric LeBlanc memorabilia for him. That's it. Thank you.
That would conclude our first session. Thank you all for coming. Remain in the auditorium for the full session, and to remain quiet as the coaches are speaking about their athletes and teams. Is Corey Letourneau here? Could you come down front, please? Don't worry, you're not in trouble. Corey earned his White Letter Award this year for the first time. It's given to an athlete that earned a varsity letter in 3 sports in the same year. He started playing way back in August and finished in early June, and that's a great accomplishment. This letter comes with small insignias for each sport that can be sewn onto his letter. And he earned this White Letter N in soccer, basketball, and baseball. Congratulations, Corey. You might have noticed in the program there were 7 other people that earned this year, but they were all in the first session. Could we please have the modified baseball team come down front? Ryan Armstrong, Adam Bayshart, Josh Bayshart, Josh Chapman, Corey Davison, Ben Dragoon, Chris Guerin, Jordan Marks, Robert Pieper, Tyler Sample, Corey Trombley, Lucas Dixon, Casey Lamberton, Casey Letourneau, Andy Matop. Bob Guerin, as usual at this time of year, is at Lake Clear right now with the 6th graders, so he has written something, and speaking for him will be Scott Mitchell.
Apparently Rob is long-winded, so I have a couple of pages to read here. The first paragraph, Mrs. Cougar already stole from me, that Rob's at Lake Clear, so he's not present. And I guess I'll take over from there. I'll just read what he wrote here. This year's modified baseball team has a remarkable season. The athletes captured the championship while posting an overall record of 10-1-1. They always exhibited sportsmanship, whether on or off the field, which the school can be proud of. The team was comprised of 11 8th graders and 4 7th graders. The team stands out, in my mind, due to the fact that they progressed so quickly. Our pitching was strong, and our aggressiveness with the bats was what placed us at the top of the league. Chris Guerin was very powerful with the bat. He often gave us spark offensively, especially when hitting the ball out of the park against PHS. So I guess he had a home run. Adam Bayshard's hitting improved a great deal, which in part landed him a starting position by the end of the season. Hopefully he will be able to learn not to throw with the bat soon. Josh Chapman developed into a very powerful pitcher. Once he has the opportunity to work on the technique, he will be a huge asset in the future for the team. Josh also had some big hits this year. Josh Bayshard and Tyler Sample were new to the diamond this year after taking several seasons off. They did a good job this season, and I hope they continue to play due to the fact that they're natural athletes and learn to adjust so quickly, and I may add, very enjoyable to coach. Some of his writing's a little sloppy. Sarah was supposed to take it for me, but she forgot to again. Anyway, Ben Dragoon improved so much towards the end of the season with his bat as well as with his glove due to gains with his confidence that he needed, as he was a big part of the team by the end of the season. Corey Trombley gave us experience and leadership in the outfield. Corey is very smooth with his glove and potentially one of the best center fielders I have coached. Corey also worked hard with the bat to support our offensive attack. Bobby Pieper was very strong behind the plate. Don't ever underestimate size, because this kid is not afraid to get in front of anything. He was also our leadoff batter and did a superb job in setting the table for the game offensively. Jordan Marks is one of the better contact hitters. Jordan is our entertainer of the team, always having the team anticipate what would come out of his mouth at any given time. That's good, keeps the entertainers. Corey Davidson had a great season and had to play multiple roles. That's what makes Corey a great player, is the fact that he was solid in every position on the field. Casey Lamerton, Casey Letourneau, Lucas Dixon, and Andy Matat did an outstanding job as 7th graders. Casey Letourneau and Lucas Dixon had some big hits for us this season. Andy Matat does an outstanding job bunting the ball, while Casey Lamerton does a nice job defensively for us. Ryan Armstrong improved so much from last season. His consistency he consistently made contact while being a huge threat at the plate, hitting the ball hard. He has a great glove as well, which makes him a rounded player. He's clearly the strongest pitcher in the entire league, and he is the big reason why we were the champions this season. He has some fundamentals still to learn on the mound, but once again, he gains more experience. As he gains more experience, you will read his name in the paper daily on the future Cougar teams. He is also a very positive player and enjoyable to coach. I'm very proud of his accomplishments this season. For all the above reasons, I give him most valuable player. I'd like to thank the team for a great season. I'm very proud of all of you, and you know what? We'll miss my swings. I guess. Singing. What is it? Oh, miss my singing. Singing, there you go. You'll miss my singing according to Rob, see the singer. Good job, guys.
We'd like to thank Mr. Guerin for a great season. We had a 10-1-1 record, as Mr. Mitchell told you. We would like to nominate Adam Bayshire for the MVBT award, Most Valuable Bat Thrower. He had a record in 4 games, I think it was. He threw it 8 times. Got talked to twice. We can always count on Chris Guerin coming through with the big hits, Ryan with his star pitching, Corey Davidson with his catching, Jordan Marks with his entertaining, Ben Dragoon with his lanky sense of humor. We had Lucas Dixon, never shy to say what he wanted to say. Casey Letourneau, who always came up with a big heart, and he always came through for the team. We had Corey Donnelly, who would always get us going, fired up, and made us start off with a well-rounded team. I'd like to thank Mr. Guerin and Mr. Letourneau for helping out with our team, and thanks for a great season.
Could we have the JV baseball team come down front?
Oh, well, he wasn't here. I didn't see him.
Cody Roberts, Chris Matop, Mitchell Laundrie, Nathan McCallum, Chester Hemingway, Kyle Rabideau, Justin Marks, Chris Rule, Jeff Lawrence, Ryan Langlois, Nick Bayshard, Sam Parker. Please welcome our JV baseball team and coach Tim Peck.
Try to bend over. I want to start out with thanking Ms. Gilroy for the opportunity to coach this year, and for Scott Mitchell for the help he gave me getting involved and restarting in this program. I coached here about 18 years ago. I know that exactly because my anniversary falls on a Saturday that we had a game back in 1986, so I keep that little baseball in my dresser so I can remember my anniversary, and also when I coached back here a while ago. I can't say enough about this group of kids that I had. To come back here after a number of years of not coaching at the high school level and to be given this team to work with, I was very honored to do that. I got to say to the parents of these kids, you got to be very, very proud. I haven't coached a group of more dedicated or better kids to be with than this group. And I don't say that just because I'm up here and have a chance to say something nice about these guys. Right to a man, each one of them was a real pleasure to have on the team. The boys baseball season this year was a rebuilding year at both the JV and varsity level. We started out the year at JV with one returning JV player, 4 players that came up for modified, and 7 new players this year. And out of those kids that are here tonight, I can foresee some pretty good ball players at the varsity level next year and the year after. And I'm pretty excited having watched some of the modified team games. That we've got some good future in this program, and I'm encouraging all these guys to stick with it. They've got some good talent and they're learning the game. At the JV level this year, we had a record of 6-7, which I don't particularly enjoy because I don't take losing very well. But in JV baseball, I explained to these guys in the beginning, our purpose wasn't to go out and try to win 13 games. Our purpose was to improve as individual players and to get ready for the varsity level. That's what a JV team is supposed to do. And I think we reached those goals this year very well. To a man, these guys improved all of their skills and learned to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. We had a team, our team pitching, which consisted of basically 2 guys that threw most of the innings until the end of the season when Chester Hemingway came through and threw a fantastic game for us, a 4-1 game up in Sable. With 11 strikeouts. Cody Roberts and Chris Matop pretty much pitched every inning for those 13 games and did a spectacular job. For a JV team to give up only 34 walks in 13 games and have 101 strikeouts, and that's pretty good. We average less than 3 walks a game, and in baseball at any level, that's pretty impressive. So I'm very proud of that. I just want to go through the list and talk a little bit about each kid. I know I have 5 minutes left, so I'll try and stick within that time and do that. Jeff Lawrence was a new player this year that hadn't played modified last year. I'm not sure Jeff had played since probably grasshopper baseball or pee-wee somewhere, and it's been a couple of years. And he was a real surprise, but played especially. He came here without a lot of technical skill, and he did a real good job, worked real hard. He ended up with a 421 batting average for the field. Still needs to improve on the fielding, but that's come a long way. He's improved on his throwing, and he picked up the technique, and I believe in the future he's going to be a real asset. He's got some good speed and good quick hands. Chris Rule, who played modified last year, had a 389 batting average this year. He was second on the team with 13 runs scored, led the team in doubles. Outstanding center fielder with good speed, good instinct. Never failed to make some kind of spectacular play in center field. Never failed to almost get hurt each game and every practice, but it's good to see that he's here. He's a real tough kid, an outstanding kid down on the team. Justin Marks joined us a couple of weeks late this year, coming off some knee surgery and a bad ankle. He stepped into the role of catching most of the games this year. Not a role that he had done previous to, I think, one summer that he played for me, he caught, and he stepped into that role this year because our regular catcher, Chris, usually catches. He ended up pitching a lot of games, playing shortstop. Justin stood in and did a great job. He had a 367 batting average and a really solid defense behind the plate. Mitchell Laundrie, who's played for me since he was about this big, and as you can see, Mitchell now is this big, had a fantastic year at the plate. He ended up with a 333 batting average, and that included a real late inning slump. He had one time was batting around 700, and he had a couple of games with a bad ankle where he had a tough time legging out hits, and he still ended up there and one of the top hitters in the team. Kyle Rabideau, I got to say that if I had to pick 15 guys to be in a baseball team and wasn't worried about just talent, he would be one of those kind of kids I would pick. Kyle was one of the first guys out there to pick up a rake and work in the field, one of the last guys to leave with an equipment bag, always positive, always working hard, played most of the season at third base, struggled with the plate early, had a great surge at the end of the season, ended up with a 281 batting average. I think he raised his average about 150, 200 points in the last 2 weeks of the year, in the last 4 games. Outstanding teammate to have on a team. Nate McCallum, Nate's played for me again since he was a grasshopper, and if he ever figures out that he just needs a little confidence and that he does have a lot of talent, he's going to be a good ball player. He's got good solid hands. He played a lot of second base, a little bit of outfield for us this year. I think this summer he's going to be playing some third base because he's developed a pretty good arm. Actually increased his speed quite a bit. He didn't have a great batting average, but he was a third in the team with his on-base percentage, which means he has a pretty good eye at the plate, and he's patient, and he works hard, and he fights all the time when he's up there. And that's all I ask for players. Chester Hemingway. Chester came in this year and played, I think, just about every position on the field except third base. He played shortstop when he had to, played first base. I mentioned the game that he pitched in Osable. He did a great job there pitching at the end of the season. Had a 444 batting average. Just an outstanding guy again to have on the team. Chester is our most improved player this year just by the effort he put forth. I'm going to come up here and Chester plays in Pony League for the Champlain team, and I coached the Rouse's Point team, and we scrimmaged the other day, and Chester thinks that he's learned some tricky plays that he's going to use, but I think he has to remember where he learned all that stuff from, so don't bother trying any of it with us, Chester. But we do have some stuff up our sleeve for you, so just be ready. The last 2 players that I'm going to call up here together are going to share the MVP award. And I don't do that because I couldn't decide which one to give it to. I did that because both of these guys deserve this award. They were the senior guys on the team. They play the game with a lot of heart and spirit. If they both learn to control their emotions at some point, they're going to be outstanding athletes at Northeastern Clinton. So you both guys will come up here together. Cody Roberts and Chris Matat. Authority thing. Cody batted .456 this year, led the team in hitting with 20 hits, and had only 6 strikeouts for the whole JV season. An outstanding job at shortstop. Brought the team a lot of emotion every time he played the game. Once again, if he can learn to control that and channel it, he's going to be a force. He doesn't like to lose. He's like I am. As a pitcher, he led the team. He had 46 strikeouts and only gave up 15 walks. And out of those 15 walks, 7 of those were in the last game of the season that he pitched against PHS, where we really had a battle up there. And actually, it was a game that one time we were losing 17-1. And as characters, this team, we came back. We lost. We only lost 17-11. And the coach from PHS made the comment that they don't really want to go back up here and play us anymore. They don't like teams that have to fight back like that. And one of the things kids this year learned, they just don't give up in this game. They just keep playing. And Chris Matat, who happens to be related to me in some way, he led the team this year with a .510 on-base percentage. He led the team in runs with 16, 13 walks. And in stolen bases, he had 16 stolen bases in 13 games. 2 of those were stealing home. I think that's from running away from me when he was little. As a pitcher, he had a .336 earned run average with 39 strikeouts, 13 walks. And actually picked off 9 runners, which is pretty outstanding for a GV player. So I'm really proud to have coached both of these guys for a number of years now and have seen how they've developed. And I encourage them and everybody up here to stick with this game, enjoy it as much as I do. And if you learn nothing else this year, just remember that baseball is played without a time clock. Game's over when you decide it's over, if you're the home team. And you keep battling. You're going to make some teams understand that Northeastern Clinton does have a baseball program and we're something to be content with. Okay, so on behalf of Gilroy and Northeastern,
together as a team and learn how one another plays the game. Only 13 games this season. It didn't give us much time to get used to the way each other played, but we did a pretty good job of it. We had a lot of close games that were decided by only a couple of hits or some fielding errors. We really came together as a team against Ticonderoga and Unstable Valley. During those games, anyone watching could see how great our team could play when we came together. This year, not only did we play baseball, but we had fun doing it. Coach made some different drills at practice that many kids had never done before. Win or lose this year, we had fun, and we would just like to thank Coach for all the fun and learning we experienced this year. Thanks.
Do we have the varsity baseball team come down front? Caleb Caston. Adam Duto. Andrew Jarvis. James Tierney. David Dumas. Corey Letourneau. Skylar Massey. Richard Daniels. Mike Southwick, Nate Young, Matt Welch, Cody Roberts, Chris Matat. Please welcome the varsity baseball team and Coach Scott Mitchell.
Well, I'd like to start by saying thanks to Robin Young and Mr. Tierney for helping me out with the book when possible. Matt Smith helped me out a little bit with first base when he was around. And Mr. Matat, Coach Matat, helped me out with during sectionals, coaching first base and coaching a little bit, so thanks to those people. And I'll try to make mine short and sweet, kind of like our list of victories. We had one really emotional victory against Peru, which is one of the better teams in the league. They weren't quite as good this year, but it was still nonetheless a nice victory for us. Like Mr. Matat said, it was a rebuilding season for us, JV. Modified was real tough, so we started off as a very young team, very inexperienced varsity team with only 2 returning players from last season. Our uphill struggles were compounded even more with a severe case of the academic flu. We had quite a few people that were out at various stages through the season. As a matter of fact, we started off the season with 6 people. 4 or 5 of those guys were starters, so obviously we had a rough go at the beginning. We actually lost 3 players to this nasty virus that was going around. These guys right here, I commend the guys that are up here, because these guys are the ones that either got their grades up or didn't get any grade problems, and they toughed out a difficult season. The future looks bright for these guys, because we have a large number of returners. I think we're graduating 4, and good luck to those 4. We have James Tierney, Caleb Castine, Andrew Jarvis, and Adam Dutil, who's smiling over there. Those 4 guys are moving on to a great career in politics, probably. But, well, good luck to them. And like I said, the season for us next year looks really bright. We have some number of JV players that will be moving up and a bunch of returners for our guys. As far as our most improved player, this was a player that moved part-time from work at third base, and I moved into a starting position at catcher. Behind the plate, he got stronger with each game, blocking pitches and throwing out about 50% of would-be base stealers. I remember his first game behind the plate in Beamantown and a few pass balls, and after that game, he started throwing people out and blocking just about every ball that was thrown in the dirt, which were, I'm sure there were numerous ones. Our MIP, Matt Welch. And for our most valuable player, this was a player with good work ethics. He knew the game, hit the ball well, first half of the season, he caught, and I'm sure you know it now. And he was then moved into left field. He actually volunteered to move into the outfield. I didn't move him into the outfield, but he moved into left field in order to help solidify our outfield. He showed total confidence in playing both positions and played both positions very well. Our MVP, Nate Young. And like I said, mine's going to be short, so that's all, and have a great summer. Congratulations.
Good evening. Just like to say we started off the season by breaking Coach's glasses in his nose. That was interesting. First game. It was a lot closer than the 29-6 score too. We were a lot better than the 1-12 record we put up, and we were awfully desperate for pitching. Even Mike Southwick pitched. Baseball fans know of the Nolan Ryan Express. Well, Mike is famous for the Mike Southwick Express. Not really known for its speed or movement, but its ability to move at 5 miles an hour and the batter to be able to swing 3 times before it gets to the plate. It's amazing. we had a bunch of good guys this year. Skylar Massey, a.k.a. Moose, for reasons we won't get into this evening, played first base. James Jimmy T. Tierney, also called son of Ron Jeremy for his father's big mustache, did very well for us this season. Kill, who is heir to the Calvin Vision throne, estate and millions, was a good act this season. He had the best looking flip down sunglasses in CBAC history. Andrew, the love machine Jarvis, had some tricky dancing maneuvers with the chain link fence in left field on the JV field, and made a random phone call to Showtime Video looking for a video that I can't mention in public with an Indian accent. And myself had some tricky moments crossing the chalk line at first base and basically running problems in general. I'm quick like tractor. Next we have Ryan Hampton, who tried to teach us some of those fancy cheerleading moves, but they didn't really take. Now, the coach, interesting fellow, who still lives in the heyday of his broken down baseball career. He frequently enjoys playing broomball with all the senior citizens of the local area. And he wears these plaid shorts that I swear are his wife's. It's awful. Every time we practice. He always walked from his vehicle to the field, though, unlike some JV baseball coach who drives a little green Metro. I don't know who that is. Thank you for everyone who came to our games. Thanks to Miss Goroy. This is the last time I get to thank her for all her support and what she does for all of us. Also, a great thanks to Coach Mitchell, Matt Smith, and everyone for all their support. Also, Doc Southwick, for always being at our games and being the team physician and psychologist. Thank you very much.
Do we have the modified softball team down front, please?
Oh, no.
Cassandra Ashland, Chelsea Barcombe, Megan Bayshard, L'Oreal Bombardier, Danny Bulris, Sarah Glode, Sarah Katie Hardigan, Morgan Harvey, Cheyenne Mayette, Nikki Smith, Danielle Tierney, Mel Barrier, Kim Dragoon, Danielle Fillion, Chantel Lavallee, Manager Kirsten Bowman, and Manager Nicole Harvey. Please welcome the modified softball team and Coach Sarah.
It seems that I'm always the person who follows the funny guy. Doesn't matter what happens every time, and yes, it was my responsibility to type up Rob's speech. However, I'm very used to correcting 7th graders' papers. His writing was perfect. Okay. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the players, the parents, and friends for attending this evening. A thank you also goes to Calvin Castine for his dedication and hard work, Josie Gilroy for organizing and holding this whole spring, or should I say rain season together. And finally, I would like to thank Frank Dumas and Tim McDonough for their advice, expertise, and assistance whenever I needed anything. I can't begin to explain how much I love coaching my players. They make me smile every day and are always eager to learn and develop as players as well as individuals. Our overall season record was 7-4, which is an abnormal season. I had 10 returning players and 5 new players this year. The overall attitude of the team was remarkable, and this team formed a cohesive bond that I had not yet seen in my previous 3 teams. Can you imagine 17, 13, and 14-year-old girls, and they all liked each other? Danny Burris spent time playing shortstop in left field. Danny, along with Megan Bayshard, was the team's best motivators. Danny hit well for us and has a wonderful throwing form. L'Oreal Bombardier, our first baseman, saw the most playing time this year. She hit 2 home runs for us and did a wonderful job on first. Danielle Tierney spent a lot of time at short, first, and in the outfield. She's an aggressive player who knows the game inside and out. She was also a home run hitter. Chelsea Barkham and Megan Bayshard shared the majority of the time on the mound. The girls both loved the game and never complained. Chelsea will work on her speed and Megan on her positioning of the ball, and these talented 2 young ladies will only get better and better over the years. Sarah Kate Hardigan has come such a long way as an athlete. Her actual athleticism is outstanding. She was sometimes her own worst enemy, getting down on herself in the past. I can honestly say that she has matured tenfold and her attitude has changed 100%. She now shakes things off and plays her game. I have never seen anyone so hungry for foul balls. Morgan Harvey was my other catcher. She performed solidly behind the plate. But what impressed me the most about Morgan this year was just how much her hitting improved from last year. If only the bus walls could talk. They could tell a story or two about Nikki Smith and her antics on our bus rides. Nikki did an excellent job on third, and she was a very aggressive base runner, as well as a home run hitter. Sarah Glode pitched and played third for our team. Sarah's a quiet girl who is a pleasure to have around. She has a solid bat and a sure glove. Cassandra Ashline spent time at second as well in center field. Cassandra gets the job done and is just happy to be able to play softball. She did break her finger early in the season, so she had to miss a few games, but when her finger healed, Sandra was back along with her smile. Kim Dragoon, Danielle Fillion, Chantel Lavallee, Cheyenne Liette, and Mel Barrier were new to the squad this year. Each was a welcome addition to our team. Danielle and Cheyenne did a wonderful job in the outfield. Mel and Kim shared time on second and in the outfield, and Chantel played well, anywhere I wanted to put her. Kim, I was happy to be your nurse when Megan hurt her knee in Saranac Lake. Chantel, thank you for assisting me in my search for Princess. Cheyenne, who can ever forget your slide? Danielle, I'm happy you gave me the chance to know you through coaching. And Mel, thank you for not ever throwing your bat far enough to seriously injure anyone. Nicole Harvey and Kirsten Bolmel were our managers this year. They helped with anything and everything. These 2 girls became a part of our team, not just our managers. A sincere thank you goes out to both of them. Finally, to the parents, I don't know if your daughters always tell you about what your support and presence at our games mean to them, but they're always welcomed and appreciated. Thank you for the wonderful season, allowing me to coach you, and letting me feel like one of the girls most of the time. You are all wonderful young ladies who make me happy to be able to do what I do. Thank you.
We didn't really write a speech, so we wrote down some notes a couple minutes ago about our season. Miss Hanfield was a very exciting coach, and she was definitely a good motivator. And the long bus rides were a lot of fun, especially the day when we played down by the banks of the hanky-panky, and she couldn't win at all, and she got so frustrated.
Yeah, there were definitely some good moments this year. Our little aggressive catcher here, she's learned not to run into the fence when she's trying to catch foul balls. But she's working on that one. Then back to Nikki and the hyperactiveness on the bus. We all know that was quite interesting. Then there was our motivational bench speaking. That was truly great. We had to change the words to take me out to the ball game on away games, but we had it. And overall, we really did improve a lot this year. We came together as a team, and our 7-4 record, same as last year, but we did good, ladies. We improved. It was a great season, and we look forward to coming back next year. We have some picture Miss Hanfield and the managers, so if you guys want to come up and get them. Always been one.
JV softball team down front, please. Tiffany Lamberton, Nicole LeBlanc, Carrie Tremblay, Darby Turner, Jordan Clark, Rachel Courier, Marianne Doody, Alex Forey, Katie Laporte, Trish LaValle, Jelaine Rabideau, Jenna Van Leuven, Manager Amanda Rabideau.
I knew you would be coming.
Please welcome our JV softball team and Coach Greg Dooley.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the varsity girls and Coach Tim McDonough on Section 7 champs and a very strong showing in the regional. They deserve a big round of applause for that. There was a lot of hard work put forward. I have some thank yous. 3 area gentlemen, Terry Ladd, Hay Badnasian, and Al Kaufman, 3 gentlemen that live in the Rouse's Point area, retired now, and they spend a lot of time up here helping Tim and I out in these fields. Very, very seldom our fields are not prepared and ready to go and in nice shape compared to some of the fields we play on, besides the Plattsburgh State facility, which is taken care of by caretakers. But our field always looks in great shape, and it's not just because of Sarah and Mr. McDonough and I and the teams. Those 3 gentlemen have done a lot, especially Mr. Al Kaufman. It's nothing for him to bring his own mower and machinery up here and take care of our fields. So if you happen to see any of these gentlemen on the street, just give them a little thank you, because they've done a lot for this program. I'd like to thank Gretchen Morris. She's a teacher here who has played a lot of softball, has a lot of good softball knowledge. We have a lot of fun with her. The girls tease me a little bit about her, and I tease them a little bit about her, but overall, a lot of positive things have come out of her coming to our practice. And I'd like to have a round of applause for her. Gretchen's in there. There's Gretchen. Right there. Thank you, Gretchen. We appreciate it. Also, Mary Rabideau, I'd like to thank thank her. She saved me some time. Our girls were in need of socks, and she took care of it, made the order, picked it up, and you still owe me 50 cents. That's all right, we'll let it go. And big thanks to Mrs. Gilroy again. She battled the weather, stubborn coaches, things coming in late, and did an excellent job as always. And Mrs. Gilroy deserves a round of applause for that also. Looking at our program, as usual, Northeastern, we held our own like we do in every season. State play probably 15, 20 years ago wasn't even thought of, but now it's become a reality, and our athletes look forward to going past sectional wins now and getting into state play. So, little political part now, on the 15th of June, let's get out and vote to make sure our budget gets passed so we can have all these athletes and continue the success we've had at Northeastern with our sports. I'd like to thank Sarah, always supportive. She's got a nice group of girls coming up. They play the game well, they hustle, they're good listeners, and they have fun. And thanks to Tim McDonough, varsity coach. He puts in a lot of hours. He's very, very helpful to me. Me not being in the school, he makes sure things are ready for me when I get here. Communications are good, I know what's going on, and he's just a joy to work with. And believe me, he loves his girls and really appreciates what they do and how they do it. And I tell you, his heart is in it. And a big round of applause for him. My team is kind of a dream team. It's kind of a team that every coach wants. Priority one, we had fun. We had fun this year, and we did it. And we did it by winning. We did it by hard work. We knew when to be serious. We knew when to joke around. And we just had a great time together. I mean, I had good pitching. I had good catching. We hit. We fielded. We did all the little things. We only got spanked once. We got spanked down in Ticonderoga, and those things happened. Besides that, we were right in the thick of it to the end. You don't have to be league champs to have a ball and think everything's perfect. But this is, like Tim said, you know, it's easy to say every time, well, this is one of my better teams, the best teams. But I don't think I've ever had so much fun with a group of girls. I think they even softened me up a little bit for some reason. But they came into the season, they were in pretty good shape. They could run well, they fielded well. All the little things were there. A lot of our game preparation was done just with game situations. And that's what we worked on to try to improve our game, the mental part of the game. And the mental part of the game is probably what we lost in Ticonderoga, and they all learned from it. We could have just quit at that part of the season, but we didn't. We turned around and played a good Plattsburgh High School team, probably played the best game of our year, and then ended our season on a very positive note, which is going to help them going into next year. So a lot of these girls are moving on to varsity. They learned valuable game situations. They knew how to handle the ball, where to throw the ball, and to me that was a reward, and my team deserves a big round of applause. Not only did I have probably the best team you'd ever want to coach, I probably had the best manager that this school has ever produced. This girl, no fear of me at all, nothing. When she wanted to say something, she put me in my place, and I think the girls love it, they all know it. But as long as she's in this school, I hope she's my manager until she graduates. Amanda Rabbit. I think she was a little nervous because I didn't tell her everything that she told me. My most improved player, to me, this girl is a little tough now. I wasn't real sure when I first started coaching her if the position she was in, if she was going to succeed at it. But she continued to work at it, developed the toughness, built her arm up. I think being in the weight rooms helped out a little bit. Made her arm stronger. My most improved player, and I didn't give it away by saying catcher, is Tiffany Lamberton. And my MVP, she's like an assistant coach. She knows when I'm serious, and she knows when I joke around. She knows when we're in critical situations what to do. She knows what to do, where the ball should go, how many outs there are. She's letting everybody know. She's like a little general on the field. She can be a general on the bus too. She can be a general being a cheerleader. And most of the time you can hear her, Rachel Corrigan. Good luck to the seniors. Lori, Sierra, Katrina, and Leah. Lori, I want to thank you for the last 3 years. You've come in and helped me and worked with my pitchers, and I really appreciate it. And Leah, I've only known this year, but Lori, Sierra, and Katrina, I wish you all the luck in the world. We've been through a lot together. There were good times, there were bad times, but we all love you here. Make sure you remember NCCS and come back and see us, please. Good luck to you.
Good evening, parents, players, and coaches. Thank you all for coming tonight to recognize us and our accomplishments in which we made this year in our spring sports. We thank you for your support and time you have put in. We would especially like to thank Mr. Dumas, who has had the best 2 months putting up with us. We are so happy that you found the time and dedication to coach us this year. It would not have been the same without you. I think each of us learned a little lesson from you in one way or another. We know when you got tough, you were only doing it because you cared and wanted us to improve in our game. You were certainly interesting to be around, and there was never a dull moment when you walked through the doors. This year's season has its ups and downs with a record of 10-3. We played well as a team, playing hard and tough, giving all the teams a run for their money. Even though the season had its ups and downs, we always had fun. I don't think there was one practice where Darby did not fall on her face. No one will forget when Tiff forgot to wear her chest protector during a game, or the fact that Jordan was always in her own little Neverland, but always came back towards the end of practice. Riding on the bus with Rachel was always interesting, and so was practice. We won't forget the time when she imitated Mr. Dumas. You two did look like twins. Alex, we won't forget when you brought out the net for batting practice to catch the balls, only the fact that there was a hole in it. Jay, I don't think there was anyone that smiles as much as you do. It was always fun having you around to cheer us up. And Nicole, no one will forget when you peed in your pants because you laughed too much. To our new girls, Jenna, Marianne, and Katie and Tricia, we were so glad that you guys became part of this year's team. It wouldn't have been the same without you. Even though we all made ourselves laugh, no one could top it as Mr. Dumas does. Pizza Hut, that poor chair. He constantly joked and nagged with us too. He never made it dull, it was always interesting. He always bought us food and made sure we were well fed, and no one could boogie and sing like he can. Next year will not be the same, and we just hope that you'll miss us as much as we'll miss you. We'd also like to thank Mr. Forey, who brought us drinks for our games, and Gretchen Morris, who helped us out during practices. Also, our manager, Amanda, who, for never shutting her mouth and always telling Mr. Dumas where to put it. To our parents, thank you for bringing us to practices and games and supporting us in whatever we do. Also for putting up with us when we're not in the best moods. We appreciate it. Thank you.
We have the varsity softball team to step forward. Lori Babbitt, Chris Kissel, Katrina Lopez, Leah Trombley, Sierra Ben, Jamie Burnell, Aaron Connor, Jess Gadway, Jenna Martineau, Amanda Maybar, Amanda Trombley, Allie Weiss, Courtney Corrier, Haley Fobert, Tiffany Lamberton, Carrie Tremblay, Jordan Clark, Rachel Corrier, Daylene Rabideau. Manager Kristen Glow. Manager Scorekeeper Katie Allen. Please welcome the varsity softball team and Coach Tim McDonough.
I want to thank Frankie for thanking everybody. I'll repeat some of them. Mrs. Gilroy, very organized and helped out a lot. Well, of course she did. So I want to thank her for all the help that she gave me. Frank Dumas, sort of a lifesaver this year for me. Poor guy had to listen to me, cry and whatever, or pretend to listen, I think. Probably better. He just nod. Chris Babby again assisted during every game. It's 3 years now that we've worked together. Gretchen Morris helped out a great deal, pitchers, and with spirit and drills and things. She brought quite a bit of knowledge. The game, she's Northeastern. I want to thank the parents, and I want to thank these girls for playing softball and letting me get to know them. Today we have a special goodbye to 4 seniors. Katrina Lopez, Sierra Ben, Lori Babby, and Leah Trombley, who is her first year at Northeastern. She was at an important engagement tonight, and Katrina also, she couldn't get the day off from the golf course where she works. I've had, except for Leah, these girls 3 years. During that time, we won 41 games and lost 10. Shared a lot of good times and some tough times, and they'll certainly be missed. Speak a little bit about them. Leah in Ticonderoga, this particular game, she had 3 really outstanding defensive plays, and she knocked in 2 runs. We won the game 2-1. She just about single-handedly won that game. It's a very good tie team. Katrina was a sure-handed first basewoman, if there's such a word. And she hit very well this year. And I always have trouble with most improved players because it seems to have a negative part to it, but I gave it to her. She hit better this year, and she's stronger and very, very smooth at first. Sierra Ben did another excellent job, as she has for 3 years. She had many extra base hits that either put us ahead or caught us up. Usually they were extra base hits, so she did an excellent job. And she kept us loose with her sense of humor and her smile for most of the year. Lori Babby, she's the Cougars' annual MVP. I guess if we have another star pitcher, maybe we'll have MVP other than the star pitcher. But of course, she's the MVP. She probably has her room wallpapered. I think this is her 4th in a row, I'm not sure. She's a spunky little left-hander, very stubborn, doesn't want to give up runs and hits, and doesn't like walking people. She was ill earlier in the year, but she got better as the year went along. That's about it. It says, no, not yet. Last 2 years, Lori, I said this last year, she had more strikeouts against every team in every game than the opposing pitcher, if you can follow that sentence. And that's a credit to not only to her, but to the hitters, who going against people like Wallen, Ty, and a couple of these pitchers who really control the ball hard. Lori always managed to win or lose fan more than the opposing pitcher, to put some of the pressure off our infield. The only thing else I had was that I love you guys. I didn't thank my managers. I have their names right here. I have an envelope for them. Please come up. Kristen, Float is here. Chris, they're all K's. Katie Allen. And Calvin doesn't have a K, but would you bring this over to him? So keep in touch, girls. I love you, and you have a friend here. All right, Lori.
We set a goal at the beginning of the season. We wanted to go to states. Although we never made it that far this year, we definitely accomplished a lot. I'm really proud of this team. I have no regrets. One thing our fans could never notice about our team was when we were having our differences. We did our best to keep them off the field, and we did have many of them. Behind me stands an assortment of talented young athletes. Each and every girl on this team possesses a bright future ahead of them. First and foremost, I would like to thank Mr. Bradby for helping coach over the past years. Our managers, Chris Kissel and Kristen Glode, who put up with a lot, the men who worked on the field, and Calvin Castine for taping our games. We were fortunate enough this year to have Miss Morris help out with the team. She taught us basic skills such as bunting to a new first and third play that we never really understood. She's a wonderful person with a great knowledge of softball, and we appreciate her help. Mr. Dumas, thank you for all the times you took us out to eat. Our tournament in Herkimer and our sectional games wouldn't have been the same without you there, getting us pumped up for the challenge ahead. You always made us believe that we could do anything with confidence and a little attitude, even if we knew we couldn't. Coach McDonough, I know you're worried about what I'm going to say about you, but I'll keep it nice. It took 3 years to adjust to you. You grew on me, kind of like fungus. Your dry humor, the way you think you're always right, the way you say the wrong things at the wrong time, and how you compare everything to do with softball to baseball make up who you are. If I were to think of the perfect coach, you would no doubt appear in my mind. Throughout your stubbornness, you're hard to hate. You care about each and every one of us like your own, and you surpassed your goals this year by trying to create a family atmosphere. You're the coach who wants everyone to like him, and who no one can talk ill of. I think I speak for all the seniors when I say that our varsity career wouldn't have been as fulfilling without you as our coach. To my fellow seniors, I wish you luck in all that you do in the future, and I hope you continue with softball. You will be greatly missed. To the rest of the softball teams, have some great seasons the next couple of years, and earn an NCCS white flag.
That concludes our second session. Thank you all for coming.